extract of this life. Meaning Israel were under the control of the nations, meaning our ego is called nations of the world, either Egypt or Pharaoh or Achashverosh and Haman, doesn't matter in what cases, in what forms we are speaking. It's always like that, one versus the other. The ego, Egypt, nations of the world versus the point in the heart, Israel. And then this nation rules over them and they have no way of rid of their control. Therefore it is called exile, that if the ego is nevertheless controlling, as Rav writes, control of the ego, then that state of the ego's control is called exile. I could be under the control of my ego. I don't agree that is actually exile. Everyone's like that. It's true that I'm in all kind of characteristics and different tendencies, but if I work with them correctly and someone teaches me how to work myself with the world in order to survive and to earn, even to enjoy life, then I'm getting along. It doesn't call exile. Exile means when I start to feel my life as sorrow, as troubles, as a pressure that is truly like the birth pain when I'm about to emerge from this life to a higher life, labor pains. Hence, it means that if Israel are under the dominion of certain nation, the nations control them and they cannot retire from their dominion. Meaning everything is exile. We see the general trouble that happens along with the whole of humanity currently. We have to understand that it's like the general sensation of exile which will spread more and more and more over the world, and it's still everyone means huge mass of people, everyone with their mind and mentality and all the desires, until the desire to receive would grow in each and every one, and it will start to be sensed. The terrible depression and darkness, the lack of fulfillment in life, that even if though I have everything, it doesn't satisfy me. The blood would come more qualitatively, not like I don't have work and I have nothing to eat. It's the contrary, it will come in a more and more humane forms, where I have nothing to revive my soul by, that I have no satisfaction, say like a person who's in despair, and so on. But to start with, if you accept this life in a normal way, it is called that the king of Egypt haven't died in you yet. Meaning he's not there, you're getting along with it, you're worshipping him and he's paying you. So what did the Creator do in order to redeem them from Egypt? And it is written, and the king of Egypt died, meaning they had lost this servitude, meaning they are fond of it. I work, getting along in life, I can develop my kids even better, and getting along. Thus, they could no longer work. Meaning the Creator does it in a way that the king of Egypt does die, nevertheless, that I have no feeling from this life, all the things that I could see that works, now it doesn't work, and thus they could no longer work. They understood that if there is no perfection of the mochin, the servitude is also incomplete, meaning They are not receiving satisfaction from the normal life where you laboring, you are working and advancing, you want to do whatever you need. Hence, the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. What does it mean? The work means that they did not suffice for the work, that they had no liveliness in the work. They started to sense themselves as slaves. Slaves meaning that I'm working and receiving nothing but to exist in order to work. So it brings me to hatred towards my state, to hatred to my whole life, hatred towards my landlord. Why? Because if I only want to leave and I'm as a slave in someone's dominion and he provides me with food, I want nothing more. I remember I was in Russia when I was, say, 25. And I had a friend, a doctor who went to Africa, and when he came back, he told us about how it was. He said, you won't believe it. You can work with these Africans. Why? Because they do whatever they feel like and they're afraid of nothing. Why? Because they're put in jail and they're happy. You give him feed, he has a roof over his head, he knows that he receives twice a day a bowl with some food. He has no worries in life, meaning a small desire to receive. Well, later on it changes. We know what happens, obviously. But it was, for me, not strange, but a small desire to receive. But what is the period of slavery? Where people were gladly working for the food. You providing me with food and bed, and I have my family also, that's it. I'm just not getting the extra payment. I'm only getting what I need for my beast. Food, food, sex, family, what my body needs. I don't need any more. Therefore, we don't see during the period of slavery that the slaves used to revoke and wants to escape. It is even written in the Torah that it doesn't want the slave, because the desire to receive was small and I felt safe next to the landlord. And you see how easy it is to make animals accustomed to it, because for the food they remain next to you with no problem. He has no desire for more. Where the desire grows a bit more than for food, it can no longer remain a slave. And then the landlord sees that he cannot provide him, or it's not worth his while providing him the additional things, and otherwise he's not working because he has no energy to work, he has no fuel for work. He has to receive something in addition, according to his ego, aside from the food, something extra, a bit more. So the landlord releases him. He says, work for me more according to the desire. I will give you now not food, I will give you money. Do whatever you feel like. And then I will take, instead of you, someone else, instead of the other one, someone else, and so on. And then there's already competition, and why? Because there's nothing to do. The ego in people grew from the period of slavery, say, to the period of freedom. It's not freedom, it's still a soul to his ego, enslaved to his ego, but he's no longer working for a bowl of soup, but he works for addition. And so on. This is what we are basically told, that the same reward that once they received from the king of Egypt, the normal people. I have my car, I have a flat, I have a wife, kids, trips, good job, everything is good, my pension fund, everything you need. No problem, yeah? Aside from that, I have now a little addition that I do not receive